I appreciate this opportunity to speak this morning in defense of legacy forests. I'm standing here today because this issue is very important to me. It's important to me as a commissioner representing the district where Thurston County is part of the Capital State Forest and these pieces of legacy forest are located. It's important to me as vice chair of the Regional Climate Action Steering Committee, working regionally and collaboratively across the county to meet aggressive local greenhouse gas reduction targets over a rapidly shrinking timeline. And it's important to me as a father of 2 children and a citizen of this planet who wants to be able to look our young people in the eye and tell them that we did as much as we could to leave them a clean and healthy future. Legacy forests are naturally regenerated forests, existing prior to World War II and the invention of the chainsaw, structurally complex, genetically and biologically diverse. It seems self-evident that these pieces of forest that have never been clear-cut would have a fundamentally different character than those that have. And thus, I believe that looking at trees and forests more than 80 years old is a scientifically significant distinction. Yet DNR has not been willing to recognize this critical distinction in planning its upcoming clear-cuts. The Center for Responsible Forestry estimates that there are only about 3,100 acres of unprotected legacy forest on state-managed lands in Thurston County. This represents only about 4.5% of the lands managed by DNR in our county. Yet the majority of these acres are scheduled to be cut between 2022 and 2026. That is why we are here today with a call for action. Our legacy forests are part of our shared natural heritage of the Pacific Northwest. They enhance biodiversity, improve distribution of water and rainfall, improve the public's physical health, enhance recreation, scenic beauty, and spiritual renewal. They are also essential to sequestering large quantities of atmospheric carbon both above and below ground, more per acre than recently logged areas or young tree plantations. These are the pieces of forest most likely to develop old growth characteristics in the near term. So on June 16, 2022, the Thurston County Board of County Commissioners, all 3 of us, sent a letter calling on DNR to protect all remaining legacy forests in Thurston County. Whether by including these trees in its carbon project, utilizing existing carbon markets, using transfer programs, or modifying the scope of existing sales to exclude these trees, our message was clear. We don't care how you do it, we just want it done. Even if you just excluded these unprotected legacy forest pieces from harvest altogether, with no mitigating actions whatsoever, Thurston County is more than willing to accept 4.5% less timber income if it means preserving our last scraps of naturally regenerated forest. And I have spoken with key leaders of some of our key beneficiaries in Thurston County, like the Timber Regional Library and the Port of Olympia, and their leadership feels the same. Our region has come together over the last 5 years to develop local actions to fight climate change through the Thurston Climate Mitigation Plan. We have worked and financed a 4-phase strategy, and part of that strategy involves carbon sequestration. It is disheartening to be working at cross purposes with state agencies that have not fully adapted their analyses and practices to the reality of climate change. For that reason, the Regional Climate Action Steering Committee followed the lead of the Board of County Commissioners and also sent a letter to DNR calling for protection of Thurston County's legacy forests. We know the world is rapidly changing. Court cases from 1918 should not control how state forest lands are managed in Washington. And the Washington Supreme Court recently acknowledged that. DNR has the power to manage its lands more creatively. The Supreme Court has just ruled, as Brell mentioned, unanimously, that DNR is not constitutionally obligated to harvest forests for or maximize revenue on state land. It said there are myriad ways DNR could manage these lands in accordance with the law and its duties to its beneficiaries. Now, myriad is a pretty fancy word, so I looked it up in the dictionary. It means countless or an extremely great number. So when DNR tells us it can't take these actions because the courts have constrained them, we shouldn't believe them. Thurston County's request is a modest one. Enact a moratorium on commercial harvest of legacy forest pieces located in Thurston County's portion of Capital State Forest and its other state-managed lands near Skookumchuck. And remember, that's 4.5% of its Thurston County lands. The Center for Responsible Forestry has mapped those pieces, and we have provided that mapping and information to DNR. The moratorium should last until at least DNR has restored functional old-growth forest across at least 10% of its forest lands managed by DNR in Thurston County. They have multiple paths to accomplish this goal, and it is in line with their own 2006 policy for sustainable forests. And while you're at it, let's extend this protection across the whole state of Washington. So I want to thank you for being here this morning. Please join my call and our Board of County Commissioners call for DNR to, number one, formally recognize the value of legacy forests. Number two, stop cutting these critical trees in our county and across the state. And number three, explore alternative strategies of long-term forest management that will recognize the increasing and existential ecological challenges we face and better protect our shared natural heritage. Thank you for being here today, and thank you for your advocacy for legacy forests.